All right, so the next section we're going to talk about here is this section about European rivals. So where we're at in our conversation is the Spanish and the Portuguese were the first two European countries in this age of exploration. The Portuguese largely went to the east, although they did get possession of Brazil. But Spain went to the west mostly and ended up taking almost all of the Americas. They took Central America and Mexico, huge chunks of the modern day United States, and much of South America that was not the Amazon rainforest, because no one can take over the Amazon rainforest. Um, it's just too dense, hard to get through, disease and insects, and you're not gonna take over that land. There's actually tribes who still live in the Amazon rainforest who have never been seen by modern world because you just don't mess with the Amazon rainforest. Um, but we're going to find out that the next two European countries to explore, or the next three actually, will be the British, the French, and the Dutch. And it makes perfect sense, right? The British and the French and the Dutch all have access to the Atlantic Ocean. They're all in Western Europe. And when you start hearing these stories about new world, new land that was discovered for Europeans, of course, not discovered in general because there were tens of thousands of people who lived there beforehand. Um, the English and the French and the Dutch, they want to get their hands on some of this land. They say, well, why not us? Right? Why can't we take over some land too? So we're going to see that the English, and you see the English here in red, send a guy named Henry Cabot Lodge to start exploring 5 years after Columbus. And he finds this area here we call Newfoundland. The the French are going to send a guy named, I should forget his name, but he's going to come down, okay, the St. Lawrence River, and he is going to be claiming land for France all along this area here in Canada, into the Great Lakes, and down the Mississippi River, claiming all of this inner land for France. And the Dutch are going to actually send someone to the area of New York, but they're just going to claim land that is part of modern day New York City and into upstate New York a little bit. The Dutch also say, you know what, though, we're also going to come over here. And we're going to move into the East. We're going to challenge the Portuguese supremacy in the East. And they're actually pretty successful at it. The modern islands that we call Indonesia are taken by the Dutch. They become called the Dutch East Indies. The Dutch also start trading with the Spice Islands down here at the lower part of India. So now we have 5 European countries that are involved in this exploration. We have the Spanish and Portuguese first, followed by the English, the French, and the Dutch. Okay, I'm looking at my PowerPoint. The Dutch formed the West Indian Trade Company. They take part of New York, the Netherlands. France starts taking land here in Canada and the US, and the English start taking a bunch of land as well. One thing we're going to find out is that the French use this land for trapping furs, which they then bring back to France and sell for money. They also take over a few islands down here, which they grow sugar, and down here in Louisiana, they get some natural resources, your wood, your timber, stuff to build with. So the French are using this purely for the benefit of the French, just like the Spanish before them had been doing. The one country that is different is England. And England is going to allow people to move to the Americas. They set up plantations. There's plantations in Virginia where they're growing cotton, they're growing tobacco, they're North Carolina, they're they're trying to they're
Yeah.
make money off of these colonies as well. But we're going to find that they also send people to live. Okay, unlike the other four countries, the English will be sending people to come to this land eventually to live. And that's probably why we see England kind of taking a stronger control over this land, is because they didn't just have people there looking to make money, but populations grew, people had babies, and we're going to see that England will become a powerhouse in this area and the leader in exploration and colonization of the North American continent.